Well, another gray whale has washed ashore, Sky Ranger, over Muir Beach today, where this whale was found. The Marine Mammal Center will soon conduct a necropsy to see what led to its death. Turns out it's the fourth dead whale to be found in over a week. The first one washed up a week ago at Crissy Field. Then last Saturday, one was found at Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. And then a third one at the Berkeley Marina, and now today, the fourth one at Muir Beach. Two of the whales found were towed to a spot at Angel Island, where scientists from the Marine Mammal Center are performing those necropsies. The goal is to find out how those whales were killed.
Hundreds of livestock have died as a result of drought in Marsabit County. At least 10,000 households from Turbi sub-county are in dire need of water. Residents have to choose between feeding themselves or their animals. A number of them have walked for more than 170 kilometers to Harry Hills in North Hor, and some have gone to Ethiopia in search of pasture. The partial lockdown in the country as a result of the third wave of the COVID-19 infections spells more doom to the residents as they can no longer sell some of their animals to avert further loss, since they cannot access the Nairobi livestock market.
more, baby. It's the size of golf balls or bigger.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Kelasnya pun tak sedoyo Kak, kena lindung. Ini kelasnya dan dua habis.
Ya Allah, nanti ke ini nih. Astagfirullahaladzim. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, perumahan ketiga.
Komen Satria rek. Sehat gak apa-apa? Aman lah. Tinggal lanjut. Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Banter Pak. Banter. Nggih.
Bapak iki lho ning kene lho.
Wonten. Allah. Ya Allah. Astagfirullahaladzim. Wonten iki. Tsunami nih sini. Mestinya tsunami lah anu.
And into today's top three, an explosive eruption in the Caribbean. Look at this volcano on the island of St. Vincent. It erupted today after being dormant for decades. Cruise ships are now racing to help evacuate thousands and thousands of people before another emergency on the island. Officials are saying an eruption is, quote, imminent. And here are images of this 𝐷 volcano. Scientists have been monitoring its increasing activity in recent days, and the island has been on red alert. St. Vincent is about 1,500 miles from Miami, west of Barbados, northeast of Aruba and Venezuela. The prime minister there has ordered mandatory evacuations of 16,000 people in designated red danger zones.
All arrangements have now kick-started and the process begins.
Evacuated residents are expected to be taken to neighboring islands, or they can shelter on St. Vincent outside of the danger zone.
Take a look at this in Rankin County. People got some golf ball sized hail last night.
And we also got some great video of the hail coming down in Jasper County. Now take a look at this. And listen to that hail falling. This video was taken in Stringer around 5 yesterday afternoon. The person who shot it says it was close to golf ball size hail mixed in with dime size hail.
Big, slow, gentle sea cow is a Florida favorite, but new numbers from the state reveal a startling trend.
Manatees are dying at record rates to start 2021. NBC2 investigator Evan Dean explains why and what needs to be done to save the manatee.
But there was one right over there.
Yeah, right along. Among those pointing and peering at the manatees in this warm water canal, vacationer Sandra Consor, her husband Tobias, and their young son.
I like them. They are so cute. They are so
relaxed.
Yeah, relaxed.
Here at Manatee Park in Lee County, the lovable sea cow is a huge draw, even on days when there aren't that many here. But there's a concerning trend in Florida to start 2021. About 3 times as many manatees have died so far this year as compared to previous years through this point.
Take a look. In 2019 and 2020, about 150 manatees died statewide through early March. But this year, more than 430 deaths. In Lee County, the spike isn't as pronounced, but it's still noteworthy. A 50% increase so far this year compared to the previous 2.
Oh, it's very surprising.
FGCU's Dr. Billy Gunnels says red tide, cold weather, and reckless boaters are among the things that kill manatees. But he suspects something bigger is causing this rising death rate.
They're sick, they're not getting enough food, and that may speak to seagrass beds, may speak to water quality, and these are things that we need to address.
FWC says the East Coast is a big problem spot, environmental issues, and also suspects a loss of food to be a factor. Problem is, more than 2/3 of the manatees who've died so far this year haven't been officially examined by the state.
We need proper staffing. We need sufficient number of individuals so that we can be responsive when things like this emerge.
But Dr. Gunnell says it isn't just scientists who can solve this. You can help save the manatee too.
This is not any one group, one person, one source. This is all of us, from our Gulf communities to our neighborhoods to our agricultural areas. You know, if we want to have a place that we really do enjoy with the animals that we really do value, we have to retain a strong and clean environment.
For the NBC2 investigators, I'm Evan.
We have new information tonight on an extensive rescue mission in Leadville to get somebody out of a 30-foot sinkhole. Lake County Fire Rescue responded to a storage facility on 2nd and Plum where that hole had opened up and a person had fallen in. Firefighter Alex Conlon jumped into action, rappelling down immediately to get that individual. He was then secured to a 24-foot ladder to keep him from sinking further into the hole. The person who fell in was badly injured. Search and rescue arrived and helped pull Conlon and that person out. Both were treated for hypothermia, and the patient was airlifted to a metro area hospital.
We begin with a massive rock slide that has shut down Highway 50 in the Sierra. It's expected to take hours to clear. Good afternoon, I'm John 𝐷𝐉𝐄𝐉. Caltrans says they hope to have at least one lane open later this afternoon. The rock slide, though, happened just before 6 o'clock this morning near Echo Summit. You can see huge boulders covering the road. A driver actually crashed into those rocks just moments after they fell onto the road. Thankfully, though, and amazingly, nobody was hurt. The road, though, closed, obviously is impacting traffic for people trying to head up to the Sierra for the weekend.
We were really hoping to get skiing. Because we've been looking forward for this for a long time because it's, we didn't go skiing this winter. And we came a long way because we live in Mount Valley and it's all the way up here.
Well, there are several detours right now for both eastbound and westbound traffic, but Caltrans at this point says they hope to have at least one lane open sometime this afternoon. Be sure you download the CBS Sacramento app so you can get updates on this road closure as well as other breaking news sent right to your phone. You can get it at the App Store or on Google Play.
Crews continue to battle the wildfire burning in parts of the Allegheny National Forest. It's news out of Warren County tonight. As of Saturday, the Cobham Hill fire was 30% contained and the Hemlock Road fire was 60% contained. According to authorities, if the Cobham Hill fire escapes containment line, it may threaten homes and camps currently there. Currently, there are over 60 fire crews and several aircraft involved in the effort. As of today, there are no injuries and no structures that have been lost.
Tonight, firefighters are carefully watching the winds and some hot spots in the Price area after a brush fire ignited there this afternoon.
Fox 13's Sydney Glenn joins us live near the Carbon County Family Support and Children's Justice Center on South Fairgrounds Way, which had to be evacuated today. Sydney.
Bob and Amy, look how close this Justice Center is to the fire, just a couple of feet away. And then right next to there, that's a medical center. Both of those buildings had to be evacuated. And then as you come back over here, you can see the lights behind me. That's a neighborhood. So a lot of buildings and structures close by. Luckily, thankfully, none of those were damaged. The fire chief for Price City says the winds played a major factor today. They just continued to go faster and faster. He says they thought they were originally going to be able to get this fire out very quickly, but the winds and the drought had some other plans. 2 people were ticketed for allegedly starting the fire by allowing their campfire to get out of control. The only damage is a nearby fence. Most of the firefighters here today are actually volunteers.
They make the difference. We couldn't run the fire department without it. We don't have that type of budget, and they answer the calls. They left their jobs today. They left their families, and at one point they were fighting a fire with 30-foot flames and 40-mile-an-hour winds. That's quite significant, and that's what they're volunteering to do.
This is very early in the fire season to see a large 50-acre burn like this. The chief says this is a scary indication of what could be to come. You can see all of this brush out here, very dry. Again, we are in that drought and a lot of this burned here today. Firefighters are actually still out here watching this closely for hot spots. The chief says he's already being proactive, ordering extra equipment, preparing for whatever this fire season could bring. Live in Price, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And all that rain flooded out several streets here in Jackson. First responders went to Meadowbrook Road. The water was several feet deep. Cars stalled and water flowed into homes. Important to remember to never drive or walk into flooded waters, and it can be hard to tell how deep it is, and you can never be sure what is in it.
The latest on the emergency unfolding in Manatee County. Florida officials say the round-the-clock work to prevent a full break of a reservoir leaking wastewater seems to be working. Governor Ron DeSantis was in Manatee County today to see the breach for himself, and he says they are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. NBC's Sam Brock shows us what's being done to avoid a major disaster.
Manatee County remains under a local state of emergency.
What we're looking at now is trying to prevent and respond to, if need be, a real catastrophic flood situation.
A leaky man-made pond started with 480 million gallons of salt water mixed with nitrogen and ammonia, now under 300 million, but threatening to burst. The Florida National Guard airdropping more pumps in, preparing to double the water flowing out as concern from evacuees escalates. Candace Kays and her friends and family forced to flee after much deliberation.
As much as I don't want to leave my home just because of worries of anything happening, I'm terrified of my 7-year-old having to go through something catastrophic.
People from more than 300 homes instructed to leave the area. A community crushed by the circumstances. Omar Iraq's business is right on the edge of the evacuation zone.
Our health can't come back if we get sick from something that could have been prevented.
The county administrator acknowledging the infrastructure problems could have been dealt with decades ago. But state environmental officials say there's no threat of radioactive water.
The southern pond, as we mentioned, is mainly seawater.
For those people who are worried, they hear radioactive elements in water, which is what's being reported right now. You're saying that that's not a concern?
Correct.
As for hundreds of millions of gallons being flushed into the Gulf, scientists say that will impact the ecosystem.
So algae blooms, what they do is they block off oxygen, so fish and other things that are dependent on oxygen in their water suddenly start to suffocate.
While we still don't have a final price tag for the damage, homeowners across the mid-state are still cleaning up. Of course, Vicki, disaster relief takes time.
But one homeowner tells News Channel 5's Alexandra Cohen she hopes federal monetary assistance comes sooner rather than later.
Following major flooding a couple weeks ago, several people are still trying to figure out what to do with their homes, especially ones that had basements collapse.
Elisa Green's dog sitter sent her videos of water in her basement on the night of the storms.
Yucky, muddy water.
When the flood water receded, it revealed the walls had collapsed.
Literally every worker who's come in has gone down the stairs and started cursing, which is a little bit discouraging but strangely reassuring, like, oh, it looks bad to you too.
Elisa was shocked by the damage left behind.
The first person who got here was the water mitigation company, and he said in his opinion it would be condemned and I should be prepared to move out.
So she did, but now a structural engineer thinks it's fixable. Elisa has flood insurance to help cover the costs since there's a creek behind General Bate Drive.
Learning to navigate that is really character building.
As of now, she's worried about how much she'll have to pay out of pocket.
It will cover the cost of things like HVAC, plumbing, electrical repairs, and foundation repairs. But apparently there's a loophole in the coverage of walls.
The mayor's office in Nashville is working with the state to collect information to move forward with the disaster declaration. Hopefully, federal aid will be available soon to help people in Elisa's shoes. Reporting in Nashville, Alexandra Cohen, News Channel 5.
As an assistant professor, Elisa says Belmont University has been accommodating when she's meeting crews, and she's thankful for the outpouring of support from friends and family.
Big tornado. Big tornado. I can't see if it's down, but it certainly looks that way.
I can't tell if it's down or not.
That's a tornado. That's a tornado. That's a tornado.
You can hear not long after they spotted the tornado, the county's warning sirens kicked on. Certainly some scary stuff there, but some amazing pictures.
They have taken hit after hit, and now some businesses are being forced to close for several weeks after the recent flooding. News Channel 5's Olivia Michael talked to those business owners who say they are resilient.
Water level was at this high.
At LV Luxury Nails, it's not what you can see, it's what you can't see.
This time, the magnitude of damage, it's not like visible as much as tornado, but we shut down much longer.
The nail salon is preparing to shut down again after recent flooding destroyed its subflooring.
By Sunday, we have to close it down completely, remove every shelf, mirror, anything on the wall, and turn the space over.
Next to the salon at the Valley Center Mall is Rockstar Academy of Dance.
It's a lot. It's been a lot. It is our fourth flood. Second worst being 2010 when Nashville got hit. But we took on more water this time than we've taken on ever.
The flooding reached up to 4 feet.
Well, I'm only 5 feet, so I mean, it's like shoulder height for me. In losses, we're probably right at $100,000. What it's gonna cost us probably close to $75,000 to reopen.
Chandler says because the studio has been flooded several times before, it couldn't find flood insurance, meaning these new damages are coming out of pocket.
We don't know if we're going to be able to keep our mirrors.
It was already a tough year for restaurants, but Memos was also hit in the flood.
When you think about all the hard work that you put into the business and all the sacrifices and everything that it takes to run a business and to have a business, it was really hard and just, you don't know what's next.
For the second year in a row, the Mexican restaurant will be closed on Cinco de Mayo.
We're resilient and we'll take one thing at a time and just keep moving and keep going.
The businesses will all have to close for various amounts of time for repairs. In Mount Juliet, Olivia Michael, News Channel 5.
Now, breaking news on News Channel 8.
Good evening, I'm 𝐃𝐎𝐶.
And I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, firefighters are working to get control of a brush fire that is burning near homes and a school.
Now, this fire's not far from 𝐾𝐻 High School. You can see on the map there where we're talking about. 8 on your side's Justin Schecker has made it to the scene. He joins us live in a cloud of smoke. Justin.
That's right, guys. You can see the cloud of smoke behind me here in this cul-de-sac. I can tell you there are 20 units from Pasco Fire Rescue on the scene at this hour fighting this brush fire. And we're happy to be joined here live by the Public Information Officer for Pasco Fire Rescue, Corey Deerdorf. So where does containment stand at this hour?
So I just got an update from our command post, and we're about 90% contained. The Florida Forest Service is out here assisting us. They've been huge today, bringing out a number of tractors to help put a line around this. And what they're going to do now is called a back burn. And what they're going to do is they're going to go inside that fire line and burn some of those unburned areas to make sure there's no further fuel. So later tonight, when everybody can feel safe at home, to make sure that they know that this isn't going to rekindle.
And I think we're taking some look from up above. Eagle 8 HD flying over this scene. I understand there's been some mutual aid today. Other agencies are helping fight this brush fire.
Yeah, we're grateful for our mutual aid partners. It's really a blessing when we have a large-scale incident like this to have units from other agencies come out and help us out. We had Port Richey Fire Rescue respond with some ATVs, with some firefighting capabilities. We also had Palm Harbor Fire Rescue out here, a couple other units from Pinellas County, and a big, huge help from our friends over at Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, bringing in one of those helicopters with a Bambi bucket that really helped us knock this fire out today.
And we saw that video from Eagle 8 HD showing that HCSO chopper dumping water from up above to fight this brush fire. So at this hour, what is your message to the residents in the homes here?
Hey, you're going to see a lot of smoke tonight. If anybody sees any active fire that's outside of a fire line, so they'll see that fire line. It's a tractor line that goes through. If they see it outside, give us a call. If it's inside the line, they can expect to see that throughout the night. They can rest assured that we'll have crews out here all night coming out periodically to check to make sure this is wrapped up.
And just last question, when did this break out this afternoon?
So it's about 12:30 this afternoon. It happened just behind 𝐾𝐻 High School. And what happened is these winds, these sea breezes out here really picked up and caused some difficult conditions. The fire shifted actually 5 or 6 different times on us. We were able to get ahead of it with some help and knock it out.
And there's a little breeze out here. We saw kind of the smoke drifting south as we were driving here north to Pasco County. Actually, our producer had one more question. At this time, do you know what the cause of this brush fire is?
Cause is under investigation at this time. We're going to be talking to witness statements from where it first happened. We have some investigators over there now going through all that.
And you did confirm to me, one of the neighbors said there have been some smaller brush fires out here in recent weeks, so I guess not the first time that Pasco Fire Rescue has been on the scene here in this area in Holiday. But again, thank you so much, Corey Deerdorf from Pasco Fire Rescue. Again, Jen and Keith, the update right now, 90% containment, but the crews will stay out here to make sure this fire stays under control, obviously with so many homes here in the area. Let's send it back to you guys in the studio.
Investigators still trying to figure out what caused a fire at a church in downtown Sacramento. This happened around 7:30 this morning at the Chinese Gospel Mission. You can see the flames right there. Fire officials say the fire started on the outside of the building, but then moved into the attic. It took fire crews nearly an hour to put out those flames, but no one was hurt.
A Sacramento church heavily damaged after a fire there this morning.
That's right. Crews responded to the Chinese Gospel Mission at around 7:30 and saw flames coming out of the building on 15th Street and Solon's Alley. You can see it in this video here that Sacramento Fire posted on social media. The flames were burning next to an apartment building. The crews say that building had to be evacuated. No one was hurt.
Early morning Saturday, they did a good job of getting here, identifying the hazards, mitigating those hazards, and keeping the public safe. And the real victory here is no one was injured. You know, property can be replaced, lives can't. So we're thankful that no one was injured in this fire. Anytime there's some sort of a community building where people come to gather, you know, it's a loss for this particular area.
The crews say that it looks like the fire started inside the building, but it's too early to tell what sparked the fire. Church members say that this is another challenge on top of an already tough year.
It's like when you look at it in biblical terms, it's like Satan's like just throwing a lot of roadblocks in front of you. It's just challenges us to try to overcome that.
And the church deacon also says that church leaders are figuring out where they'll worship. Insurance companies will help determine the total cost of the damage.
Here tonight, a boil water advisory has been issued in Miramar. A service line broke, so there is now a precautionary advisory for the area you see highlighted on your screen. Those in the Riviera Isles, Nautica, Sunset Falls, Harbor Lakes, and Sunset Lakes communities should use boiled or bottled water to drink, cook, or wash dishes until further notice.
This is an Arizona's Family News Update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brandon Lee. Here's what's happening right now in Arizona. On Friday, Pfizer formally requested the FDA to amend their emergency authorization for young people 12 to 15. Right now, the vaccine is only available to those 16 and up. Pfizer's clinical trial shows it is 100% effective in preventing COVID in that young age group. The other two COVID vaccines made by both Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, those are currently authorized for people 18 and up. A new vaccination site is set to open up later this month, up in the high country. It'll be over at NAU's Union Fieldhouse. The indoor site will operate 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They'll begin offering 1,000 appointments each and every day. A wildfire is burning near Dudleyville in the very small town. It's about 80 miles southeast of the valley. Crews telling us tonight, as of Friday, at least 500 acres have burned, including 12 buildings. We're still waiting to hear how many of those were homes. Crews hope to get families back inside their homes this weekend. The Red Cross is setting up a shelter for those who've been evacuated over at Ray High School in Kearney. Border Patrol says that they have signed a short-term contract with a nonprofit out of Texas to provide temporary shelter and processing services for families going through the immigration process. One of those temporary shelters is a Holiday Inn in Ahwatukee. ICE says that migrants are going to be provided meals, laundry, COVID testing, and a full health assessment. The contract to provide that housing is for 6 months.
Developing now, the hazardous situation at Piney Point may have gotten more serious.
Officials held a news conference earlier today saying a possible second breach has now been found. Local 10's Joseph Ojo joins us now from the newsroom with details on this. Joseph.
Well, authorities are concerned that a breach at Piney Point Reservoir could potentially unleash a 20-foot wall of water that would flood nearby neighborhoods. But just earlier this afternoon, they revealed that a possible second leak has been discovered. Now, that possible second breach is being assessed right now by engineers. It was found by the Army Corps of Engineers using thermal drones around 2 this morning. The Army Corps of Engineers is on site along with the EPA and the Florida Division of Emergency Management. There are now 20 additional pumps pushing out water, bringing the total to at least 75 million gallons per day instead of 35 million gallons per day. Officials have detailed that how the drones are being used. They continue to try to avoid this catastrophe.
Drone teams have been deployed by the state as well as the county's drone team, and they are flying every hour and on the hour to give here our emergency operations center and our decision makers real-time view of what is occurring out at the site. And they have the capabilities to detect temperature changes focused in on the berm site itself.
And over the weekend, Governor DeSantis declared a state of emergency for the area as crews keep working to drain the reservoir, which holds 340 million gallons of wastewater. The National Guard has deployed 2 helicopters to help speed up the process as well. Meanwhile, as officials try to contain the leaks and pumps out all the water they can, there are more than 300 homes being threatened, with some homeowners now in hotels. Officials say that their primary concern is about the discharged water and the concentration of nitrogen phosphorus, but emphasize that the water was not radioactive. Live in the newsroom, Joseph Ojo, Local 10 News.
Joseph, thank you.
Tonight in North Texas, big hail has caused big problems for some people. In Venus, on the Johnson-Ellis County line, large hailstones smashed the back windshield out of this car. And this is from CBS 11 storm chaser Mike Prendergast. He drove through quarter-sized hail this afternoon as one storm blew through Grandview. And then viewer video, Terry Adams saw hail large enough to do damage. Look at this. You can see the stone as big as his palm. This came down south of Italy in Ellis County. And more video yet from Tony Thorson, who saw hail in Venus as well. She sent us this picture you can see as well. Pretty large hailstones, certainly enough to do damage. There were, by the way, reports of hail as large as baseball size there tonight. And Cindy Moore saw some very large hail in Lancaster. She says this is from I-35 and Bear Creek, if you happen to be familiar with that area. That hail also looks large enough to do some damage. And DeSoto also seeing large hail. This is what Margaret Jones saw and shared with us through CBSDFW.com. And then moving to Alvarado, Jill Spurgeson saw this hail.
Details tonight on a string of dead whales found in the Bay Area. We now know that ship strikes are now suspected in at least 2 of the 4 recent deaths. You're looking at NBC Bay Area Sky Ranger showing the most recent dead whale discovered yesterday at Muir Beach in Marin County. The 4 dead whales have all washed up in the past week and a half. The first one washed up last week at Crissy Field in San Francisco. The Marine Mammal Center says they don't know yet what killed that one. This past Saturday, another whale was found along Moss Beach in San Mateo County. Scientists say that whale and the one found yesterday near Muir Beach were likely both killed by ships. Now, they're still investigating the death of a 4th whale found floating near the Berkeley Marina.
They're beautiful creatures with a deadly bite. A frightening find for a father and his daughters at Hallett Cove.
Looking around for crabs with the girls, and there's a little rock pool and saw the blue-ringed octopus.
And there's been an alarming increase in the number of recent sightings along our coastline at popular beaches like Brighton, Somerton, 𝐶𝐶liff and Moana.
They do tend to hang around structures and rock pools under rocks.
Experts say with more people out and about, sightings have become more common, raising the risk of children being bitten.
She obviously wanted to try and pick it up and explaining to it that it's pretty but very dangerous.
Surf lifesavers say if you see one, never touch. If you're bitten, take action immediately.
It's called 000, that you immobilise the limb and apply pressure to the wound.
You won't necessarily see or feel a bite, but you can recognise the symptoms.
Headaches, dizziness, numbness, tingling and difficulty in breathing and swelling and tingling in the mouth, lips and throat.
Taylor Jones, 7 News.
You may be loving our weather right now, but dry conditions are putting most of the Bay Area at a high risk for fires. This one got dangerously close to homes in Pasco County today. It's an issue neighbors say was bound to happen after what they have been dealing with for all week.
And I'm Ryan Bass with you here as well on this Friday. Crews were fighting off smaller fires in this same area before it got this big. Officials from 3 different counties actually had to rush in to help as smoke covered the sky. It's right by the lake in Blue River Road. You can see homes all around there. The fire started in a wooded area right near that neighborhood, and it set smoke near Anclote High School, Paul R. Smith Middle School. They're just a few miles away. Pasco Fire Rescue says it's about 90% contained now, and the neighborhood is safe. But homeowners near there tell Nightside's Angelina Salcido they are worried that this could happen again.
Crews drop water over a 20-acre fire in Pasco County.
They were wetting down right behind the house over here, and I thought, oh, what's going on? So then I walked in the backyard and I saw the fire.
While neighbors watched, 10 homes were evacuated over concern the fire would spread.
Because it was very close. This fire, you could see the fire from here, and the smoke was incredible.
For Linda Grand, the brush fire was a little too close for comfort.
Absolutely concerned. I actually started packing, getting, our dog supplies together, everything for everyone, and to leave.
Well, these neighborhood roads were shut down for several hours while fire crews worked to contain the fire. It took them 5 hours to get to 90% containment.
Today was a difficult fire. The sea breeze were very close to the Gulf, really contributed. We had the highest 10+ mile-an-hour winds pushing this fire. That's hard to get ahead of when you're talking about a fire moving through very, very dry brush.
This neighborhood, no stranger to brush fires.
While we're fighting this fire, we had 2 other brush fires going at the same time.
Small fires have been popping up for weeks. This one, the biggest they've seen this year. Neighbors are now concerned they might not be so lucky next time.
I'd like our county commissioners to step up and look into this too, and see if they can help us find out who owns the property and what we can do to make it safer.
Crews continue to battle a wildfire burning in parts of Warren County. According to the public information officer with the incident management team, the fire near Cobham Hill Road is nearly 30% contained. That fire starting around 12:30 Thursday afternoon. It burned parts of the Allegheny National Forest. Today, firefighters put out hot spots and took down hazardous trees. The weather helping crews get the fire under control. Crews are being called in for the night and will head out tomorrow to keep battling the blaze, which they say is conservatively about 30% contained.
One person is dead and 7 others are injured overnight in Louisiana after the storm passed through East Texas. And you can see in a moment pictures of the damage that was left behind here. There it is. The trailer of an 18-wheeler was in the middle of the road in one case, and other cars were tossed around, some even getting flipped over. Search and rescue teams are still out there looking for survivors this afternoon. We'll bring you any updates tonight at 10 and online at KTK.com.
Yeah, that's right, Jade. You can just imagine the strong force of overnight winds that brought down this massive tree here onto this car. And if you can, we're going to pan here and you're going to see the extensive damage that we're seeing. It pretty much pummeled onto this mobile home. According to Rankin County investigators, they say they're unsure if a tornado or high winds is to blame. Now, thankfully, homeowners inside here, including the animals, were not hurt. Cleanup is now underway.
The side of the residence, no one was hurt. At this time, we're just trying to get the tree off of it and put tarps over it to recover as much of their property as we can.
If you live in a mobile home, it's important that you leave it to find shelter elsewhere during severe weathers like this. We have a list of those shelters that are available on our website, WJTV.com. But thankfully, no one here inside this mobile home was hurt from last night. Live in Brandon, Tauta, 12 News.
When severe weather approaches, your first thought is probably to get supplies and stay in the comfort of your own home. But it's not that simple for everyone.
You think when you're in your house that you're protected from the elements until the elements start coming into your home.
Felicia Davis lives in Memphis, but with severe weather approaching, she's worried sick about her mother, Amanda Jones, whose home floods at least once a year. Last year, she says it got so bad that first responders had to rescue her and her neighbors.
This sounds like a nightmare.
It is a nightmare. And just imagine you're 70 years old and that's your home.
Amanda Jones tells me she's tried using sandbags and nothing seems to work. So far, she's come out of pocket nearly $50,000 in just water damage repairs. Her longtime neighbor, Vernell Bailey, says this has been an ongoing issue that's lasted for years.
Like the storm that's coming, they talking about coming in now? If that storm really comes in here and it's real heavy, yeah, it's going to flood down there. The water's going to back up.
Bailey says the flooding is likely due to the creek nearby rising and their neighborhood being low-lying. Still, as the severe weather approaches, people like Amanda Jones are hoping the storm passes quickly or misses her neighborhood altogether.
I just didn't have them today.
Now to our other top story, we are keeping an eye on the weather after severe storms swept across the south overnight and early today. The storms killed at least 2 people and injured several others when it hit Louisiana. Take a look here. These are photos of the damage from the St. Laundry Parish area where a possible tornado hit early this morning. And take a look at this. This is a large water spout that formed in the waters off Panama City Beach today. That is not something you see every day. It appears the spout then moved onto the shore. It's something that is just remarkable. Some nearby condos were damaged in that area. It also caused major damage to some nearby buildings, and this home and convenience store were reduced to just scraps on Front Beach Road and Wells Street. Officials say at least 3 people were able to escape from those structures with only minor injuries. They had some damage reported in other areas from wind and lightning strikes. And the same system dropped these massive hailstones when it hit the Orange Beach area, causing significant damage. That is just huge. Orange Beach resident Deborah Collard sent us these pictures. The NWS out of Mobile says there were softball-sized hailstones, which is about 4 inches in diameter.
Here, Dylan, right here. Come here. Hurry. Right there.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty big cat, isn't it? This is video that was sent to us from Draper showing a large cougar strolling through the neighborhood. You can see the wild animal just casually strolling about through the yards before onlookers called wildlife officials to help him catch it. They were able to safely subdue the animal and return it to the wild.
Not going near that thing. Nope. Not for me.
He was enjoying a stroll out in the sunshine. It was a gorgeous day to be out.